The great Jerry Palm, our good friend from CBS Sports. You can follow him on X at JPP Palm, CBS, at JPP Palm, CBS. It's good to have you back on, Jerry. Let's talk first about Indiana being number 5 in the country, and they got it done any way you slice it against Michigan. It was hairy in the second half. Rourke did nothing. But the defense stepped up. The punt return, I thought, saved the day for them, and they got the extra 3 out of it, and they win it by 5 when they've been scoring 47-plus a week, and their defense has been top 5 in college football. You can't even explain it to me how this has happened, other than Cignetti got a bunch of guys that are veteran players, 3rd- and 4th-year guys that have won awards playing at every level and are experienced, and they got a good quarterback. And they got all those players from JMU that can flat out play, and he's a winner. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's been tremendous. And it looks like he brought in like a Sun Belt All-Star team with him, which a lot of James Madison guys would be on. But that's college football these days, right? You don't need years and years to build up. If you can get transfers in, you can really put a roster together right away, and he's done that. And Indiana's a weird team for the committee. They are number 8 in the college football playoff rankings last week. Probably move up a little this week, but they have the worst schedule you could possibly put together for a team. And until last week, they were annihilating everybody, and Michigan gave them a fight. First team all year to do that. But Indiana, we're 10 games into the season for them, and not one of their opponents has made it to bowl eligible yet, and only one could do it this week. So you couldn't, like, if you intended to put together a schedule this bad, you probably wouldn't be able to do it. But the committee's giving them credit, as they should, for doing the best you can against that schedule, which is to light everybody up. And now they get a week off to prepare for Ohio State, the one, excellent team on their schedule. And, this is where we find out about Indiana. Can they hang with Ohio State? Can they beat Ohio State at their place? If they can, they've got a shot to get a bye in the college football playoff to maybe even win the thing. But that's a big task. Going into Columbus and trying to beat Ohio State there is a big task for everybody, no matter how good you are. So we'll see what Indiana's got for Ohio State in a couple of weeks. But, that's really the litmus test for them. That's where we find out just how good Indiana really is.
So Miami lost to Georgia Tech. Are they still a playoff team?
Yeah, because I think they're still going to win the league. Now, they may not be the home team in the conference championship game. SMU, of course, is undefeated in league play, but I still think Miami's the best team in that league. They play with fire a lot. Their offense, really sputtered. Georgia Tech did a great job against that offense, and it wasn't up to its usual standard, and it needs to be because their defense is sketchy. So, I don't know if Miami's a contender to win the college football playoff, but they're still, I think, the best team in the ACC.
LSU and Georgia with huge losses on Saturday. Are they out?
Well, LSU is. That's 3 losses, and I don't think a 3-loss team is getting into the college football playoff unless that 3rd loss comes in a conference championship game. Then maybe you have a shot at 10-3. 9-3 is not going to get it done this year. But Georgia, that's only their 2nd loss. So they've still got a shot. And it's funny because when I was projecting out all the results I need to do bowl projections, I ended up with Texas in 1st in the SEC and a 6-way tie for 2nd at 6-2, which Alabama emerged from. And I actually had them winning the league because I don't really think that Texas is the best team in the league. I think it's either Georgia or Alabama. So anyways, but that league is a real pile. I mean, it's a pile of good teams. I don't know how many of them are completely elite teams. You certainly see signs of it from some of them. But this is a great league with great teams at the top. There's going to be at least 4 of them in the college football playoff.
So, and Ole Miss would be one of them with that defense, right?
Maybe. I mean, they abused. They just abused Georgia's offensive line. Yeah, I mean, the defense has always been the thing that's been missing from Ole Miss. I mean, with Lane Kiffin, they're going to score a lot of points. But now they've got a defense that can keep them in games when the offense isn't going, or they're playing an opponent like Georgia where, your offense probably isn't going to get going. And they have a defense now that can win games for them. We'll see if they get in. Their schedule's not that great. And for those teams in that pile up at, with one or two losses in particular, it could be strength of schedule that ends up separating some of these teams because you may not have a ton of head-to-head results or definitive head-to-head results that make the difference.
Jerry, is it BYU and Colorado that you see on a collision course in the Big 12?
It appears to be, yeah. Those two, what a great year for BYU. Nobody picked them better than 10th before the season in this league, and now they're undefeated. Colorado right there. Yeah, it looks like one of those two is going to be the Big 12 rep, and they'll probably be getting a bye.
Who wins the Heisman Trophy?
I like Ashton Genty. I don't know if he's going to win it, but if I had a vote, he'd get it. There's some great quarterbacks out there. There always are. But this feels like the kind of year where he can win this award, and especially if he breaks Barry Sanders' all-time rushing record award, then, boy, I don't know how you don't give it to him.
Is Cam Ward and Sanders obviously the top two quarterbacks going to the NFL draft? Which one do you like better?
I like Cam Ward. He's got a lot. He can make all of the throws, but he's also very elusive in the pocket when he needs to be. And at Miami, he seems to need to be a lot. So the fact that he could create plays and extend plays, I think is going to make him a great player in the NFL.
Let me just ask you real quick. I got 30 seconds tops. What's it like for Painter to coach without Edey in West Lafayette? Like, how is he dealing with that loss?
Well, they also lost Daniel Jacobson, the 7'4" kid that was going to replace him, out for the year with a tibia injury. So, but Purdue can win in a lot of ways, and they'll win again this year.
Slow down, Jerry. I watched the Hoosiers play a couple of lifeless games against SIU and Eastern Illinois, whatever, at Assembly Hall. I wanted to puke. Anyway, I'm excited about Indiana football. Never won 10 games before and are up to number 5. It's crazy. Jerry, thank you. Good to see you, my friend.